Matt Wyatt Show. The guy who's the color commentator for Mississippi State football and SEC baseball.
So yeah, he brings a lot to the game, and he's right here.
Right now! Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right. Back half of the week. Here we are with you. What's up? Hope y'all are off to a good start on your Thursday. Live with you here on this Thursday, I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance across the state of Mississippi. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Staying connected to you because of C-Spire, the number one network here in the state of Mississippi. C-Spire, where they are customer inspired. I'm going to reach out here and touch this button and start it off right.
25 seconds left to play.
You're listening to the Matt Wyatt Show.
I want winners.
This crowd is alive.
Play to win the game.
Wyatt from the shotgun, two backs alongside.
Knock him out, John.
Wyatt gets the ball.
It won't be long.
Wyatt back to throw. Wyatt looks, fires toward the end zone. Passes, caught for touchdown by Matthew Butler.
Speak to it.
The Matt Wyatt Show. He's Radio Wyatt.
Well, how am I going to go to college? I'll just play football.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's the way it's supposed to sound. All right, we're underway. Y'all text me, call me, and let's see what we're going to talk about today. You tell me. Anything y'all want to talk about is fine with me. So text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN. That is a 601 number, 885-ESPN or 885-3776. If you text that number, I'll get it, and we'll read it on the air, and we can communicate that way. I always enjoy getting your texts and hearing from you on the show. Call me on the Davini phone. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. The oldest Kubota dealer in the United States of America. Did you know that? That means that Davini, they've been doing it better, longer than anyone else. Myron is the first to comment on Facebook. He says, Hail State from Starkville, play football in all caps. Yeah, I think we're getting closer and closer to that. We're supposed to have a decision today from the SEC presidents that are trying to organize things, decide when they're going to start the season, which would tell them when they're going to start practice and how that's going to start. And then what the season is going to be made up of, how many games and how many conference games and all that kind of stuff, because the ACC seemingly made a decision yesterday. I'll give you those details if you haven't gotten them already. Big night in baseball last night. There were several, again, it's kind of like a recurring theme here in the first week or so of Major League Baseball, but there were, again, a couple of former Mississippi State players who had big nights. Not just because we're not just calling it big because of who they are. No, they really did some big things, and that was in baseball last night. I'll bring that to you. But y'all feel free to give me a call on the Davini phone, 995-1059. We'll get to your phone calls in just a bit. Hi to Joy, who's watching on Facebook. Kane watching on Facebook all the way from hot Atlanta, Georgia, the home of the Atlanta Braves, where Austin Riley from DeSoto Central High School was in the shift as the third baseman last night for the Braves and recorded the final out with a great backhanded stab on one knee at the shortstop position. Turned and fired and threw the guy out at first base. It was a highlight play to end the ballgame last night for the Braves getting a win. Chop, chop. Braves getting a win over Tampa. Which they had a lead. They gave it up. They came back. Look, it's early, but it's only a 60-game season. So it's not as early as you think it is. And so that was a big win last night for Atlanta. They had to have it. I kind of was watching that thinking, they kind of have to have this. Okay, so I got baseball coming your way. There, a little bit later in the show, we'll jump into some college football on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Today is 37. Now, I think given the way things have gone this week and the way things I expect to go today, we may be as early as tomorrow, as late as Monday, tweaking the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. because we started back in May, counting this all the way down to September the 5th, whatever was supposed to be the opener around here for everybody. And it looks more and more like they're not going to open and play on September the 5th. It's going to be later in September. We don't know if it's a week later, at the 12th, or later at the end of the month. So I think there's a great possibility that even though today we're doing team number 37, we may be adding some teams and then maybe some at the back end to string this preview out of teams and players and that kind of stuff all the way up until the start of the season, which is going to happen. It's just going to be, it looks like, a little later in September. So that's coming up also. First, though, I'd like to say hello real quick to JB. JB!
What's happening, Matt Wyatt?
Man, I don't know. You tell me. What's happening with you?
Oh, me and Beaver on the phone trying to figure out. We got some commercials that aren't firing the way they're supposed to do. They were already firing your first break. So
really?
We're working on that. And we had a caller that called in, and we had some difficulties with the call screen, but that is rectified. So we're ready to hit that phone, man.
Okay, so we're ready for him to call back. Okay, so whoever,
you got it.
You know who you are. If you tried to call and we had an issue a minute ago, call us back. We think we've got it fixed now. The Davini phone, the aforementioned Davini Equipment phone line, 995-1059, 601 number 995-1059. And like I said, text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. I have the kind of the teal-colored Country Pleasin' hat on today. See, it's still got the red hog on the front, though. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Y'all text me, 885-ESPN. That is a 601 number. And if you're watching the live stream, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, y'all comment. I'll be able to see it. Steve is watching in Dothan. What's up? I bet it's hot in Dothan today. Well, I guess maybe, here in North Mississippi where I live, I don't know what the temperature is today. I just know it's much cooler. I went out for my daily walk. It ain't much. That's about all I have time for, about 3.5 miles or whatever throughout my neighborhood. Yeah, they're saying it's 85 degrees right now here at noon in Tupelo. Can you believe that? And the wind was blowing like crazy. I couldn't believe it, how nice it was, especially compared to a couple of the days that we've had recently. My mom is watching on Facebook. She says, love your look today. Yeah, it's I have a very pastel look today, don't I? Kind of a teal hat, a teal shirt. I just didn't have time to change into anything else. and we're doing some painting here at the house too. So like when the show's over, I'm just headed right back down there and pick up the roller, and here we go. So you're kind of catching me right in the middle. This is the real deal right here. This is not made for television at all. This is the real deal. Speaking of the real deal, our callers are the real deal, like Dog 79 on the on the Davini Equipment phone, 995-1059. Dog 79 hanging on. Let's see if this phone line deal works. What's up, Dog 79? How you doing?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Great.
Great to hear JB again.
I agree.
And, Matt, I love what you do and who you are.
Thank you.
The reason I called is I don't usually watch replays, but last night I replayed the 2014 LSU game, and, of course, for your Bulldog, you got to watch that if you can.
No doubt about it. That was an unbelievable experience to be there and kind of see all that unfold and kind of feel it. It was really incredible. In fact, when people every now and then, Dog, they ask me, what's your favorite game over the last 5-10 years, or what games stand out since you've been doing radio stuff? And I always do that one first because, just seeing that and the way State absolutely dominated the early parts of that ball game in Baton Rouge, which we hadn't seen before or since, it was really incredible. I guess they showed that on TV last night because it was Dak's birthday.
Oh, is that it? I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
But the reason I called, as some people say, the Aflac trivia question last night was what MSU quarterback was 4-0 during his career against LSU? I know you love trivia, Matt.
Oh,
so
yeah, I know the answer.
I know, but look at it this way. I'm an old guy. I don't Google stuff. I like to test my memory. So the first part of that process is how many 4-year starters have we had at quarterback at State?
Oh, boy, that's a great Yeah, that's a great question. There hadn't been a whole lot of them.
I believe that's the answer, too. I can't think of anybody else.
That's a good point.
How about it, JB?
Yeah.
I'm with you, pal.
Brother John, I think John Bond might be the only 4-year starter we've ever had at State. That's what Dog 79 is saying, is like, if you preface the question with that, then you just gave us the answer, right?
Well,
exactly.
Not only that, man, but I think the kicker for that team, who hailed from Baton Rouge, was on that same plane as Mr. JB
Dog.
Senior, Dana Moore. Yeah.
Oh,
Dana
really?
Moore, that's right, Dana Moore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So he was in the same boat. Hey, I have to ask you, since your Dog 79, did you graduate?
Yeah,
did you graduate in 79?
Exactly. I missed JB by a year.
Uh-huh.
But I was there in '80 for the game. Still got the bump sticker.
Hey, let me ask you a question then. You were there you graduated in 79. I'm not even looking at the schedule, but this is just off the cuff here. Since yesterday we had this conversation that really bubbled up and ballooned. It was a lot of fun about, trying to answer the question of who had the greatest career as a college quarterback in the state of Mississippi. Who was that? Who was the greatest quarterback in college in Mississippi? And it was a fun conversation. And a lot of people,
that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. A lot of people brought up Reggie Collier.
Right.
And so I was unfamiliar with Reggie Collier. Well, all night long I kept getting tweets saying Reggie Collier, Reggie Collier.
JB's real familiar with him, aren't you, JB?
Well, and see, I thought I needed to look it up and look at stats. I was not really familiar, but I saw where his career at Southern Miss actually started in 79.
Right.
So I wondered if you saw him play for Southern Miss.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, JB.
Hey, listen, we got to get something straight. I think Dog 79, you realize that JB on this show is not John Bond. You realize it's two different people.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was because he had been on before, and that's what he went
right.
by. Okay.
Well, and look, look.
He's way better looking. I got a face for radio.
You kind of sound like him for some reason.
He does sound like him a little bit. And that's what I was going to tell you, is that you're not the only one who's made that mistake so far.
Well, next time you talk to John about it, ask him the 7-6 Southern game at the stadium. I believe that was 81.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw too much of Reggie Collier.
Uh-huh.
And to answer the question about the best quarterback, I guess it depends on who you're a fan of.
Right.
Even though I'm a Bulldog, the career Archie had was just, my grandfather managed the stadium back then. I was there for every one of those games in '69, so
Sure.
It was tough.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know it. We were, kind of going through that whole experiment, and it was so popular of a question. It really took off on social media yesterday, and I'm even thinking about putting a video together to kind of illustrate it where people can see the numbers. And that's the thing. I think if we look at it with our head and not our heart, the stats and the numbers they're not everything, I know, but they play a huge role in this kind of conversation, and they're not on the side of somebody who played, number one, as long ago as Archie did, but they're also not on his side because, his numbers aren't anywhere near as good as Eli's were for his 4-year career,
right.
And stuff like that.
It's a different game. Well, Cutcliffe always said that Eli was the best player, but if you ever saw Archie play, that's hard to dispute. But again, it depends on what area you're from and everything. But when you got, and of course, pro career doesn't even do a college, but when you got Pro Football Hall of Famers like McNair and Favre and Archie, how do you choose that?
Yeah, right.
And then with longevity and JB, John Bond. So
yeah. Yeah, you know what? We probably every now and then I don't call him JB. I call him Dr. Brojo or Brother John, and we might have to clarify every now and then. I guess we're confusing people.
That's right.
I appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Steve on Facebook, who Brother John, you'll like this. He commented he's in Dothan, Alabama, and I was talking about how hot it is down there.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "It's so hot here, I saw a funeral procession at the drive-thru at Dairy Queen."
Yeah, well, that was one of my nicknames in high school.
What, Dairy Queen?
Well, DQ, because my last name's Brazier.
Yeah.
And so people didn't know how to pronounce it if you're looking at it.
So they call it DQ.
And so I said, well, the SH sounds like a Z. And some guy goes, oh, well, that's just like the Brazier foods at Dairy Queen.
Well,
so they started calling me DQ.
I thought you were going to say drive-through. I'm still going to say, look, now as a basketball player, that's not a great nickname to have. You must have been a terrible defender.
Well, I probably was, man. I never saw a shot I didn't like.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you ever run across a basketball player whose nickname is drive-through, then bless his heart. You don't.
It's kind of like George Gervin. He didn't play a whole lot of
He didn't do that. No, sir. So DQ is a lot better. Chris, hanging on the Davini phone, jumping in early today. What's up, Chris?
How you doing, Matt?
I am great as far as I know.
We were having a little technical difficulties when we first started.
Yeah, I think so, but we're good to go now.
What I was going to say is that I was trying to be the first caller because I was going to tell you, thank you for coming to work, unlike Vacation Man in the middle here. And, I think that you started something and your listeners started something, so you ought to be proud of it, because when Bo's not at work anymore, like when he doesn't come to work, they still put on a show, like, of reruns of all the interviews and stuff they done through the week, so that we don't have to listen to that other crap.
Yeah.
And Bo was getting off today, and I was like, okay. And I forgot that Brooks wasn't going to be here, Vacation McJack. Man, I had to listen to that junk for 2 hours. I was like, oh my God, please don't pull something and not be here today, man.
Well, I'm here. And like you say, I mean, there are times when we have to take off or we do take vacation or whatever. But, I know. Happy to be with you today.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate the Jerry Clower and stuff like that when you aren't here, and we get to listen to that.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was to add to what you were saying. When you do that, like if you put a video or something together, get the number of wide receivers that played with each quarterback that went to the next level.
Yeah.
Because I still think that's the best. That's the best stat. Because if I'm not wrong, wasn't there a tight end that played with Eli that went to the National Football League and played for like almost as long as he did?
Well, we're gonna have to look it up and see, but I think he did have a tight end target who played in the NFL. We're gonna have to go back and look and see. And Chris, we talked about some of the names that McNair played with, but not a lot of them. There haven't been just a ton of receivers. The one thing that jumped out at me when I was thinking about it last night, on that note, so Chad Kelly had the single best season of any quarterback at the Division I schools in Mississippi, right? Like that year that he threw for 4,000 yards and everything. That was his first year at Ole Miss. That's the best single season anybody at State, Ole Miss, or Southern Miss has ever had. But you would also look at it and go that he had, in terms of compared to all these other guys we talk about, Chad Kelly had the most weapons around him. He had the most NFL players.
He had A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, and Dawson Knox.
See, I got to go back and look. I don't know if those guys were there yet, but they had some NFLers before them, right? Didn't Kelly play with Treadwell, or was Treadwell already gone?
He played with Treadwell. I think that was both. Because Kelly only played 1 year there, right?
No. He was there 2 years, but his next year is the one where he tore his ACL, yeah, and missed a bunch of games.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he started playing with vacuum cleaners in other people's houses. So.
Yeah, that got him in a little trouble.
But no, yeah, I still think that the fact that, we were talking about that, and I remembered after you said something about Fred Brown, I remembered that Fred Ross actually made it to the Carolina Panthers and was supposed to start and hurt his ankle in practice. I don't know if you knew that. That's what happened to him. He said at Carolina, every time that he was supposed to get to play, something happened to him. He hurt his ankle twice, and I think he tore up his knee the last time, and he just kind of threw his hands up and said, forget it.
I see.
Because every time he was supposed to get ready to play, something happened to him.
Yeah. I got you.
All right, man. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
All right, bye.
See you. So I'm looking here. Kelly played with Jordan Wilkins, who's an NFL running back for the Colts. He did play with Treadwell, NFL. He did play with Adebayo, who's an NFLer. He played with Stringfellow, who y'all may need to look that one up. I know that DeMaurier Stringfellow was getting a shot in the NFL. I don't know if he lasted or stuck. And he also did play with Evan Ingram, who turned into a big-time draft pick tight end for the Giants. He's a Giants starting tight end. Because I looked it up, that 2015 game where they beat Alabama, Kelly went 18 of 33, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 340 yards in the ball game throwing the ball against Alabama. Where was that one? See, I get them confused because 2015, when they beat Alabama, that's the one that was in Tuscaloosa, right? Wasn't that the one where there were 5 turnovers in the game for Alabama? The 2015 game? Yeah.
I think that's correct.
Yeah. I just saw it there. That's it. So Kelly in that game was 18 of 33, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And, man, you talk about throwing the ball to some weapons. Treadwell, first rounder. Adebayo, draft pick.
Workplace injury, dial pound 529 on your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Massage therapy can do wonders for the body. However, your body is not just anybody, so it's important to choose the right massage therapist. And that's Kristen Gressett. She's been a massage therapist for over 11 years, uses a mixture of myofascial release, deep tissue, positional release, trigger point, and other practices to customize a massage that fits your body's needs. Call her at 601-480-0398 for an appointment. Find her on Facebook by searching Customized Massage Therapy. Kristen Gressett, LMT 1217, proud sponsor of Anson Walker
that's
and
all.
Walker Training.
Adebayo, draft pick.
Hello, I'm Larry Smith with Scotty's Tire and Automotive. Are you tired of driving from one shop to another trying to fill all of your automotive repair needs? If so, let Scotty's be your one-stop shop. Alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, and tune-ups. Go online at myscottystire.com. And remember, at Scotty's, we don't want all the business, just yours.
Scotty's Tire and Automotive. We don't want all the business, we just want yours.
New location at 869 West 3rd Street in Forest, Mississippi.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish. At C Spire, we're not playing their game. The fact is, 5G doesn't always mean 5G speeds. But thanks to our exclusive fiber technology and hundreds of millions invested in network updates, we can deliver 5G speeds right here, right now. Discover the difference at cspire.com/5G speeds. C Spire, customer inspired. Details at cspire.com.
This is Jake Mangum, not some actor wearing a red shirt. Whenever I was up to bat at MSU, I would see Farm Bureau Insurance. They supported me then, and they take care of me now. I couldn't ask for more supportive teammates. If you aren't already with Farm Bureau, it's time to join the team. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance, or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
We're headed into July, and all signs point to a college football season. That's why before the fireworks go off, you need to go to collegecornerstore.com and check out all the great deals like shirts, hats, mugs, and more. Want a face mask with your team logo on it? How about a clear purse or clear tote for you ladies to make sure you get everything you need in the stadium? What about something for the little ones or the kids? The toddlers and more, they got that covered. 2 locations to serve you in the Jackson metro area. Ridgeland on Highway 51 and Dogwood in Flowood. Open 11 to 6 daily. Get your gear before the fireworks of 2020 and the sports season begin. This portion of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg. We are pleased to be back open and be your spot for the game, the meal, the laughs, and a good time. Bella's Restaurant and Heritage Diner are open for orders, so grab a bite. There's no need to play on an empty stomach. The NBA and Major League Baseball are ready to return, so it's time to get your bet on. Also, futures in college and NFL football are coming, so it's time to place those bets. It doesn't matter if it's a day trip or a weekend stay. We're your clean, safe place for top-notch entertainment. Stay, play, and dine at Central Mississippi's premier gaming destination, Ameristar Casino Hotel. Gambling problem? Call 888-777-9696.
If you're like me, you enjoy spending some time on social media. If you're like me, you're also disappointed in some of the language and comments which are shared as well. Sometimes I roll my eyes back in my head when I observe a comment that is made by someone whom I believe will one day regret that comment when they realize that what we say on social media and the web stays there. So let's all think before we post. A pretty good lesson all the way around. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
Hi, I'm Lana Clausen, a farmer in Setanta, Kansas. I'm proud to support the America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders program sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Students apply today for a chance to win a $1,500 ag scholarship. Visit growagleaders.com.
Are you ready?
Now back to the guy who loves his banana pudding. It's the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
The ACC, they met yesterday on Wednesday, or their presidents did, and they went ahead and made a decision, and the ACC knows what's up in terms of getting their football season in. The only, the 2 Power 5 conferences that are still waiting on a decision, the Big 12 and the SEC. I don't know what the Big 12 is doing. I know the SEC is meeting today. Yeah, their presidents are meeting today. We might even know something, start to see something emanate from those meetings before this show is over today at 3. If not us, certainly I would think by the time Jake and Beaver come on with the drive later this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And so we'll see if that news breaks for us here today. A little curious to me that the SEC is last in all this as opposed to first. You know, we are conditioned to think that in every scenario, the SEC is in front of everybody else. They do things first. They see things first. They make changes ahead of everybody else, and everybody follows them. But that has not been the case with this deal. But this, you might say this is a different deal where it would be better in this case for the SEC to sit back and see what everybody else is doing and make a decision accordingly. I don't know.
I think so.
You think it's better to sit back and wait?
Well, I don't know necessarily to sit back and wait, because I'm not a very patient person about waiting, but I think they're gathering more information as they see what other conferences are doing.
Yeah.
Like the Big Ten, to me, that was a knee jerk. What the ACC did yesterday was, after a lot of thought and careful planning and just seeing what's going on in the world. But now you got the SEC, so now we see, well, these are what the other conference is doing. How do we want to emulate that? What do we like about it? What do we not like about it? And let's make our own plan.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like, let's say the SEC wants to be the only conference that tries to play a full season. That's total hypothetical. I'm just saying, what if this whole time they were going, as the SEC, we're going to wait until the last minute to make a decision on canceling games. We're going to try to play every weekend if we can. Well, if that was going to be their take and their stance on it, then it would actually make sense, wouldn't it, JB, for them to wait and see which conferences are available for us to play against.
Absolutely.
And so I think there's more than one way to look at this, and all of it's against the backdrop of it's been a giant unknown for a lot of people, including the decision makers. What the ACC did, they voted yesterday to go forward with an 11-game football season. Now, to an old guy like me, that doesn't sound too crazy because that's all we used to ever have. When I was playing in the 90s, every season was an 11-game season. We didn't play 12. Right? You didn't go 7-5. You went 7-4. It's basic math. So they're going to play
6 and 6s, so you could end up 6 and 7 if you went to a bowl game.
Well, that's it. Hey, and look, they ought to do that right now.
Absolutely.
Everybody's throwing a fit about 5-win teams going to bowl games and stuff. I'll fix it for you. Add another game or take one away. It's real simple.
So you'd be that national commissioner for the NCAA football, wouldn't you?
I'd be happy to do it because none of it's hard. The hard part is implementing the decisions. That's the ADs. They have to figure out where every dime and every dollar is spent and on what and on who and when and schedule. If I were the commissioner, all I got to do is say, hey, here's what you need to do. Now figure it out. FIO, baby. And they're like, hey, Mr. Commissioner, we got a problem. All these bowl games and we're having to send teams with losing records there. Here's a fix. Either take one game off the schedule or add another one. You play an even number of games. Right? You're playing an even number. Here's the answer. Play an odd number. And now you can't finish 6 and 6. It's not
rocket science.
It is not that hard.
It'd be a whole lot better to finish 6 and 5 and go to a bowl game and lose it and be 6 and 6 than
right.
But you know what it's all about, Matt. You know why they went to a 12th game?
Money, TV.
Money.
Well, if more, if a little is good, then a lot is better, though, right? If we can add a 12th game and make more money, what are we going to do if we add a 13th?
That's the root of all evil.
And they go, well, Matt, hold on. Kids have to study. Ha! Hold on. My stomach's hurting. I'm laughing so hard. Study. Some of them do study, but don't give me that excuse. NCAA.
Study the playbook.
We put the basketball team through a month-long tournament. Fly them all over the country. Right before exams. So I don't want to hear all the study stuff. FCS is they're playing 16 games or something like that. By the time the two FCS championship teams get there in the title game, they've played a full playoff deal. They've figured it out. So anyway, you're right. The ACC Board of Directors voted yesterday to go with the 11-game season. They will begin on September the 12th, not the 5th, but the 12th. 1 week later, they just basically are eliminating the first week. It will include Notre Dame playing a full ACC schedule. So the ACC schools and Notre Dame are going to have a 10-conference game schedule plus one non-conference game of their choosing. When I saw what they put out, it was the one non-conference game was at the end of the year for everybody. And then it became really clear. The ACC said, well, we already have Florida State playing Florida at the end of the year. We want that to happen. We already have Clemson playing South Carolina at the end of the year. We want that to happen. Georgia Tech playing Georgia. We want to make sure that happens. That's the end of the year. And oh, yeah, Louisville versus Kentucky. It's the last game of the year. We want that one to happen. So, because of that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play 10 conference games beginning September the 12th. And that last week is everybody's non-conference game. You can schedule whoever you want. But we got several schools that already have it scheduled. And oh, by the way, we've worked that out with those teams. Guarantee you those in-state rivalries, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Kentucky, Clemson, South Carolina, they're going to play them. That's why they did it the way they did it. So what about the SEC? I expect them to do basically the same thing. If they don't, I will be pleasantly surprised. I expect today for the SEC to come out of their stuff and go, we're doing 10 plus 1. Some might have one, some might not, but we're going to play each other 10 times. I promise you that. That's what I expect. But if they come out of it today and go, the SEC is playing football beginning the first weekend in September, and we're playing 12 games, then I will be pleasantly surprised, and the countdown of 100 teams will not have to be adjusted or figured out in any way. All right. Over here on the country pleasing text line, Ghost Pepper and Anthony and Nick and Jason and Gator Nation, I'm coming to y'all right now. Y'all text me on the text line 885 ESPN. Ghost Pepper said, has anyone seen Bart Gregory out in public since he bought his bidet? Since he bought his bidet, he may be enjoying the thing a little too much, he said. Well, we had him on the radio this week. That's kind of the same thing as being out in public, isn't it? Some people out in Nanawaya saw him on a tractor. I can vouch for that. All right. Yes, Anthony, you bring up a name that I hadn't thought of in a while, but you're right. I'm going to look that one up. And I'll get to your text next. Anthony, Nick, Jason, Gator Nation, come to y'all's texts, and we'll jump into the countdown. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Stick around.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish. At C Spire, we're not playing their game.
The Zone.
The fact is, 5G doesn't always mean 5G speeds. But thanks to our exclusive fiber technology and hundreds of millions invested in network updates, we can deliver 5G speeds right here, right now. Discover the difference at cspire.com/5G speeds. C Spire, customer inspired. Details at cspire.com.
Number one, we're open, we're available. We have tons of stuff. There are no empty shelves at Romantic Adventures. Number two, www.shopromanticadventures.com. There's literally over 20,000 items on the website. They are shipping very fast. So if you order before noon, you can have it the next day. Even if you order in the evening, you'll have it within 48 hours. This is Tammy from Romantic Adventures, and I gotta tell you, Romantic Adventures is here to enhance your summertime romance.
Rick's Pro Truck has opened up a new location in Gluckstadt. That's right, Rick's Pro Truck, RPT, now has a location in Madison County. Come see the new Rick's Pro Truck location, 238 Calhoun Station Parkway in Madison. Lift kits, spray and bed liners, and toolboxes at Rick's Pro Truck. Visit ricksprotruck.com today. RPT and Rick's Pro Truck has a new location in Madison County. Check them out in Gluckstadt today.
Mississippi's best sports book is Bet America. Located at Riverwalk Casino Hotel in Vicksburg and Harlow's Casino Resort and Spa in Greenville. You can place your wagers on easy-to-use touchscreen kiosks, bet totals, spreads, money lines, parlays, make live bets on games as they happen, and you will never miss a second of the action. Bet America Sportsbook, located at Riverwalk Casino Hotel in Vicksburg, Harlow's Casino Resort and Spa in Greenville. It's America's Sportsbook. Visit them online at betamerica.com to learn more.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future. In a world that's changing fast. For all of the things you may one day do. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do learn from your mistakes. And challenge yourself to grow. Do not be afraid. Or make decisions based in fear. Do it all with confidence and with kindness and strength. Do call your mom and ask her for advice. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life,
Thank you.
what matters to me is that you keep doing. I love you always, Mom. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
My husband is a wonderful man. He's a great father, funny and loving, when he's not drinking. When he drinks, he becomes a complete stranger, angry and mean, not the man I fell in love with. I've become really good at pretending everything's okay for the kids' sake, but it's taking a toll on me. I'm so angry that my husband chooses alcohol over us. If he really loved us, he'd stop drinking, right? My counselor suggested I try Al-Anon family groups. At first, I didn't understand why she wanted me to go. I'm not the one with the problem, but I'm glad I went. I heard people's stories, and they sound exactly like mine. I knew I was in the right place. Do you worry about how much someone drinks? You are not alone. Al-Anon or Alateen can help. For more information, call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Who's ready for some football? Hey, if you love football, so does he. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Nobody breaks down quarterback play better than him. And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
I'm having one of those DJ Cool days. You know what I mean by that? It's a let me clear my throat kind of day. I don't know what it is. I think it was because, look, it was a cool wind that was blowing like crazy the whole time I was out there walking today. Maybe that's it. But I'm having to clear my throat. You know, DJ Cool, let me clear my throat. So I'm really thankful for this hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany in my mug here. HighPointRoasters.com. Get your coffee there. If you're not getting it there, you try it. You'll never look back. I promise you that. HighPointRoasters.com. Dan the Coffee Man will take care of you the way he takes care of me. Good stuff. Anthony from Tupelo, we were talking about the QB stuff and who played with who. Anthony said, was Mike Wallace at Ole Miss any of Eli's time? I don't think so. I think Mike Wallace played with Jevin Sneed and who was a quarterback right after Jevin Sneed? Was it Sneed and then Bo Wallace?
No, it was Mazzoli came
That's
in.
it. See, wasn't Mike Wallace was in the Jevin Sneed era, I think.
The Robert Lane guy from Monroe was supposed to be all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Ended up being a fullback.
Yeah.
Do they even have fullbacks anymore?
Yeah, kind of a fullback, H-back / tight end. He was a great athlete.
Oh, I know.
Just it didn't stick at quarterback. Man, Spurlock was an incredible athlete. You know, you look at Spurlock's high school numbers are ridiculous. And then, of course, started and played at Ole Miss. And then the kind of athlete who then goes to the NFL and becomes a kick returner. He was an incredible athlete, no question.
It's a good thing I was never fast because that's something I don't think I would enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Being a kick returner.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just one little missed blur in your periphery from a decleating moment at any point in time. Nick.
That's a great word.
A decleating?
Oh, yes. That's such a. I mean, you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. I mean, that just gives you a picture of somebody just almost dying when they get hit.
Decleated and you didn't see it coming. Your cleats kept going and you didn't. You know how Facebook gives you these memories? It'll pop up these memories from way back. The one yesterday on my Facebook page was from, let's see. No, this was 4 years ago. So my daughter was 5. And I just simply posted, I asked her, I said, hey, what's your favorite word? Her answer, she said, remarkabless.
That's a Jake Wimberly word.
It's a Jake word. I'll tell you, that kid, she has always been hilarious. She's a free spirit. Nick said McNair could have played with trash cans and he'd still put up video game numbers, no doubt about it. No doubt about that one. Jason in Flagstaff says, I think the SEC is seeing how Arizona is starting to calm down after having to order refrigerated trucks to the store overflowing dead just 2 weeks ago. They want to see if the SEC states can follow suit before rescheduling anything. And he wonders if that makes any sense. And I think it does. I think it does. Look, there's absolutely a possibility that of all the leagues out there, the SEC could be the one sitting there going, we have a death rate in one of our SEC states, Mississippi, that is number 1 in the country right now. I don't know if we're ready to be making any decisions. They could be doing that. Whether anybody likes it or not, sure, it's possible. Matt Daddy sent me a picture of Woody Harrelson. And it simply says, I always enjoy your show and keep up the good work. I definitely see the resemblance.
I do too. And the thing that as I look at that picture, there's this mischievousness in both of you that you can see in the eye. You see how that right corner of his mouth is turned up a little bit?
Yeah, he's thinking about something as they took that picture.
I mean, when I watch you on Facebook and the music's playing or something like that, and I can see you doing some of that. Like, what can I get away with?
Yeah.
That the homecoming queen won't put me in timeout for.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny. You know what I mean? Now think about that.
Oh, I hear you.
I can't confirm it, but I also can't deny it. Well, you basically confirmed it, Matt. Yeah. Appreciate that, Matt Daddy. Thank you. True Maroon says, every time you need to clear your throat and get some coffee, you should play that song by DJ Cool. Absolutely, I should. Have I told y'all the story? I'm not going to do it right now. Have I told y'all the story how when I was in college, we went to Panama City for spring break, and I got to meet DJ Cool in an alley right outside of Club La Vila, where on the inside we had all just been in there, and he was up on the stage like mini concert. It wasn't but like maybe a couple hundred people. It wasn't because it won't fit. But he's in there doing Let Me Clear My Throat and doing a concert, and then they leave, and after a little bit, I'm like, I'm getting out of here. And I look for a way to get out. I can't find the door. I go out whatever door I can find, and I'm in an alleyway, and there's DJ Cool and like 2 or 3 other guys just sitting out there hanging out. And so I talked to him for probably 10 minutes. He asked me all kinds of questions, where I'm from, and they're just normal, everyday guy. Yep, sure did. Gator Nation says, Matt, did I read it right? The ACC is going to do an 11-game schedule and allow them to play one non-conference game as long as the game is in the same state. So Florida State still gets to be Gator Bait. And then he signed off TB12 Go. Yeah, that's what I understood. Now, well, let's see here. The non-conference opponent must have, the non-conference game must take place in the home state of the ACC institution. Right. Florida, Florida State, Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Louisville, and Kentucky. There you have it. All these things are their way of covering their rear end while at the same time appeasing the in-state rivalries that their schools care about. That's it.
So who does Boston College play, or Virginia, North Carolina?
Virginia Tech. See, that's a rivalry in the same conference.
So they'll let that, yeah.
Well, and see, I think Pitt and West Virginia. See, Pitt, an ACC school, don't they play West Virginia in the final game every year? I know they used to. That was the big rivalry. Do you remember when it was this huge rivalry, and Rich Rodriguez was the coach at West Virginia, had like the number 1 team in the country, had Pat White and Steve Slayton and those guys on his team, and all they had to do was get by like 5-win Pitt in the season finale rivalry game to go to the national championship. That's all they had to do. And West Virginia and Rich Rod were going to the Natty, and Pitt upset them in the last game. No, West Virginia does not play Pitt anymore, so that was a bunch of wasted hot air. Not even on the schedule anymore. Used to be a rivalry game, something like that. Heck, Wake Forest, I don't know. Boston College, I don't know who that, rivalry type game would be for them if it's in the conference.
I mean, if you can't leave your state, so does that mean North Carolina plays
NC State,
Appalachian State?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for the non-conference deal. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, they could do Appalachian if they could schedule them. But you're saying, okay, Boston could play UMass. I mean, Boston College could play UMass.
Did you know they're an independent? They're not affiliated with any conference.
I did know that. Yep.
Yeah. I find that hard to believe.
They were on Mississippi State's schedule a couple of years in a row, back in like 15 and 16 or 16, 17, I think it was. And therefore, we got to make a road trip and go play at Foxborough up there. Jim and I were calling the game on the radio from this really low vantage point that they used to give those guys in NFL stadiums and everything. But it was really cool. I'd never been up there before. But yeah, UMass played a home game. Foxborough, where the Patriots play, is sitting in the middle, out in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's not in Boston. It's in Foxborough. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
It would be, comparatively speaking, like the distance between Brandon and almost Vicksburg.
That's right.
It's about that far.
It's about that far. And then here's the thing.
It's all interstate. I mean, you just hop on the interstate and you're there.
The interstate goes right in there because what they've done is at Foxborough, they've built the stadium where the Patriots play, and then right in the area around the stadium, they built a whole village.
Yeah.
Not residents either. I'm just talking about restaurants, shopping malls, and hotels. It's kind of like the Braves going up to Cobb County and building their stadium.
Well, you've got mass transit that they, you can hop on what they call the T and be, 45 minutes out just riding a train.
Yeah, that's
so you
right.
don't take your car. You just go to, they've made it. I've been there once. Also been to a couple of games at Fenway, and I just marvel at how they've got all that transportation figured out, where you don't have so many cars and so many people.
I know it.
But it is a great venue.
Let's see. Squez on the Country Pleasing text says, "Thank you for not letting us down today like Brooks did." Y'all give him a break. The man's got like 8 kids. You got to take some time off sometime. Pat says, Club La Vila, woof. Young folks don't know about that place, and if you do remember it, it's time for some eye cream. I agree. There was a reason that I had been there about an hour, and DJ Cool was there, and I'm like, I'm getting out of here. It was hot. It was hot and sweaty, and people in there like shoulder to shoulder.
They weren't social distancing?
No, and you talk about this like 20 plus years ago. And so I was hot. I took my shirt off. And some security guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, put your shirt back on." I'm like, "Man, it's hot in here." He said, "I know it's hot, but put the shirt back on. It's the rules."
The ladies were getting around you like ants on a watermelon, huh?
Not at that point, because I was sweating like I had been loading a watermelon truck. I mean, I was dripping wet. It was an awful experience outside of getting to see DJ Cool sing the song "Let Me Clear My Throat," and then getting to talk to him out in the alleyway afterwards. Matt Daddy says they can play anyone, but the game must take place at the ACC school's campus, or at least in the ACC school's home state. Well, I know that's what you're saying, Matt, but I'm just reading the release, and the actual words on it from the ACC's decision yesterday was the non-conference game must take place in the home state of the ACC institution, and all non-conference opponents must have met the medical protocol requirements as agreed upon by the ACC during the coronavirus pandemic. Y'all, listen, we've got 2 hours more to get into this, and I want to. We do have a countdown, team number 37, which I can't wait to talk about this one. But there's plenty to get into today, but we're going to look at this because I think there are consequences, results of things of this pandemic that are bad and negative, obviously. But there are some that are actually going to benefit college football in the future. And one of those that's the benefit is getting away from this 12-game schedule where 3 or 4 of the games for the Power 5 are totally uninteresting games. They are buying a win to get into some bowl game that nobody cares about, and they're paying Georgia Southern State $1.5 million to come up here and lose by 20 points. Fans don't want it. TV doesn't want it. I believe the ACC did it. The SEC is about to do it. We're going to play at least 10 conference games, and I don't think they will ever go back to a measly 8 conference game schedule, and at least I hope they don't. Stick around. Hour 2 coming up.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish.
At C Spire, we're not playing their game. The fact is, 5G doesn't always mean 5G speeds. But thanks to our exclusive fiber technology and hundreds of millions invested in network updates, we can deliver 5G speeds right here, right now. Discover the difference at cspire.com/5G speeds. C-Spire, customer inspired. Details at cspire.com.
Breaking bread and cooking out in the South is a way of life, and you want every one of those moments to mean something. That's why you need to visit our friends at Grills of Mississippi, located at 588 Highway 51 North in Ridgeland. The Grills of Mississippi Superstore has something for everyone. Jonathan and Tracy can get you ready to go whenever you decide to fire that grill up. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday. They got everything you need from your wood fire grills, Green Mountain grills, ceramic grills, pellets, rubs, and spices. Make sure to follow them on Facebook.com/Grills of Mississippi or call 601-790-7980. Also, bookmark the website at grillsofms.com today.
You made a promise to your community, and Bank Plus stands beside you. It's a shared promise to lend a hand, to build, to work, to invest yourself, to make a difference. You made a promise, and so did we. To Mississippi, to each other. Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise. Member FDIC.
Kessler Prime in the Renaissance serves some of the best steaks in the Southeast, from the New York strip to the bone-in filet. Kessler Prime has 6 private dining rooms that seat between 12 and 180 people, from business meetings to rehearsal dinners. Make a reservation at KesslerPrime.com or call 601-957-3753. Make Kessler Prime your go-to steakhouse and visit KesslerPrime.com.
Ever feel like making an appointment with your doctor takes a lot of time, only to feel rushed through the actual appointment? Avoid the hassle at Capital Ortho, where our board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons are waiting to treat you immediately. With one-on-one professional and personal patient care, both you and your time matter to the staff at Capital Ortho. To schedule your same-day appointment, visit at capitalortho.com or call 601-987-8200.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm gonna take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Some kids never smile. They're embarrassed by their crooked teeth. They want braces like the other kids, but their families can't afford them. Some may even try to straighten their teeth themselves. That can make everything worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. It helps provide orthodontic treatment to kids and teens whose families can't afford it. For kids who apply, are approved, and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, it can be life-changing. Their treatment is in the hands of an expert, a licensed local orthodontic specialist who improves their smiles by correctly aligning teeth and jaws. Some kids think they'll never smile again, but Donated Orthodontic Services may help them smile with confidence. To link to the application and eligibility requirements, visit aaoinfo.org.
Hi everybody, I'm Jack Hanna. Since I was a boy growing up on a farm in Tennessee, I've been fascinated with animals. I'm not only in awe of their beauty and kindness, but also their tireless work ethic. Just look at the birds who gather supplies to build nests, or Swiss foxes who work hard to provide for their young, or penguins who travel up to 500 miles to secure food for their families, or bush babies whose impressive jump allows them to navigate the trees in the wild in search of fruit. This remarkable work ethic is shared by our best friends, the canines. We know dogs are wonderful pets at home, but because of their acute senses, They also perform life-saving work every day. Dogs keep us safe at airports. They comfort returning veterans, some of whom suffer from PTS. They work with diabetics, alerting them when there's a change in their blood chemistry. Working dogs have a variety of highly trained roles that contribute to society and help those in need. So please join me and American Humane in supporting our heroic working dogs and all the amazing animals on this planet we inhabit together. Go to AmericanHumane.org to learn more.
One of my favorite philosophies goes like this. Yard by yard, life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. For many of us, life can appear to be hard. Taking regular, daily, small steps to deal with our problems leads us towards our ultimate goals. Remember, yard by yard, life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
Time, John.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Hey, hour number 2 of the show, off and running. Hi to everybody watching on social media. We got live streams going on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope right now as we speak. People saying hi, including my sister, Beth. She's watching on Facebook. She said, if you ever went to the pool at Club La Vila and survived, you're probably immune to the COVID. Yep, probably so. Paul on Periscope says, happy Friday Eve day. Yeah, we're looking forward to Friday. As I've said during the pandemic, we're all back to work now, it seems like. But, there for a while, you go, Friday, and then you don't really know what the big deal is because Friday was just like every other day. You were at home, not working, just hunkering down. But at least we're kind of, most everybody, back up and at them. But I'm sure that's a part of the reason that the numbers went right on back up. But we'll deal with it and get on our knees and pray about it every day, or at least you and I should. If we're not already, we definitely should do that. So here we go. Kicking off hour number 2. As usual, you can be a part of the show in lots of different ways. I invite you to grab a chair and have a seat at the table with me, and let's just join the conversation and see where it takes us. So text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN. It's 885-ESPN. 601 number. Or call me and let me hear your voice. On the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. It's a 601 number, 995-1059. 601-995-1059. So y'all call, text, tweet me if you want. I'm Radio Wyatt on Twitter. And I'll keep an eye on the live stream as well. First up on the text line, Clay says, tell Blake and Bo if they're going to play a replay, an old one, and not the one from the day before. Huh? So you want one from way, way back? Is that what you prefer? I will pass it along. I won't, but thanks for the text. Bulldog Wes says, there's a casino in Foxborough, too, I believe. I did not know that outside of Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots play, they have built this whole shopping and eating and like restaurant village, spend your money village around the stadium that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere. But I did not know there was a casino out there. At least I missed that when we were out there, huh? On the Periscope live feed, Wall Feinbaum says, hey, Matt, how's the sausage this morning? It was good. I'm going through a package of that jalapeno and cheddar. Mm-hmm. Sure am. It's good now. I'm telling you. Make your tongue slap your hat off. Try it if you haven't already. The reason that Country Pleasing sausage is so good is because they're not just like mass producing just with junk in it, just to get it out the door. Every package, every flavor is hand-picked hams, bacons, and pork loins. That's what's in there, not parts, okay? They're mixing the spices and the flavors up every day, fresh on site. They smoke it right there in custom smokehouses they've built for their own purpose. They are using hickory logs, not chips or sawdust, so the smoke's better, the flavor's better, stronger. Are you sold yet? You should be. Matt Daddy said, let's say Louisville, talking about the ACC model. He said, let's say Louisville wants to play Southern Miss. Obviously, they'll play Kentucky, but just stay with me, he says. They could play Southern Miss, but the game would have to take place in Kentucky. No. Matt, if that's what someone else said or is reporting about it, that's not what ESPN is reporting about it. Again, I'm going to read you the exact language in the report at ESPN based on the statement given to them from the ACC. It's also in these words on the ACC website. In the ACC 10+1, 10 conference games, 1 non-conference that they're going to do this year. They're going to start the season in late September. The non-conference game must take place in the home state of the ACC institution, and all non-conference opponents must have met the medical protocol requirements as agreed upon by the ACC during the coronavirus pandemic. So it says it must take place in the home state of the ACC institution. Well, maybe you're right about that then. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe you're right. As long as it takes place in that state. So earlier, so maybe you're right. Earlier, I was going like, well, Boston College has to play somebody from Massachusetts because they're limiting the travel. They're just saying, you're not. If you're in our conference, you're not traveling out of state for a non-conference game. I appreciate that, Matt Daddy. You stayed on me until I finally got it. You can tell sometimes I'm a slow learner. I'm a lot like Woody Harrelson. Got it. Thumbs up there. Thank you. Jason in Flagstaff. The death rate stat is a red herring, I think. He said, saw the other day where a guy caught COVID when Seattle first blew up in March. He was still in the hospital because severe symptoms kept recurring, but had not passed away. There's so much of it that I just don't understand and can't even wrap my head around. That's for sure. I can wrap my head around this, though. I like talking to people on the Davini Equipment phone line. Let's do that right now. Ponto is up first. It's been a while since I heard from you, Ponto. What's happening?
Yeah, the shelter in place, you know.
Yeah.
It started with Ole Miss in the SEC basketball tournament.
That's right.
They played.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Ole Miss played, it was it. It was all over.
That's right.
Nothing else. Sad. What about the Razorbacks? Did they play the Irish?
Okay. I would guess not, right? If Notre Dame is taking part in this, that would eliminate that. Well, the only way that they would be able to do it is if Arkansas played them at South Bend. I don't know where they were going to play the game originally. See, okay, I can tell you this, Ponto. You bring it up. As Arkansas and Notre Dame originally had a game scheduled early in the year. Notre Dame is taking part in this as if they are an ACC team. So Notre Dame's home games this year are Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Louisville, and Syracuse. Notre Dame's road games are Boston College, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Pitt, and Wake Forest. And then the one non-conference that right now for Notre Dame they are saying is TBA, to be announced.
Well, you know, they already canceled the Southern Cal game. So the other game is Navy. Well, they got Western Michigan, too. But I'm assuming, you know, you shouldn't assume, but I assume that Notre Dame would rather play Navy than Arkansas.
Well, I would think, yeah.
I'd rather play Arkansas.
Yeah.
It was, 11-2 last year?
But I'm just thinking.
It's kind of traditional. You know,
where
Army,
was
Navy,
that? Let me see here. I'm going to look it up here in my handy dandy Phil Steele magazine. I'm going to see if I can look it up and figure out where that game was supposed to be played. They were going to host Arkansas in South Bend the second week of the year, September 12th. That was initially when that game was scheduled. And you're right. So the final game of the year for Notre Dame was originally at USC. Okay, so it's not going to be Southern Cal for all these reasons. So theoretically, Ponto, you know, they could do it if Arkansas was in on it with their schedule to go to Notre Dame the last game of the year, because Arkansas with this cross-division rival stuff as it has stood in the past is always playing what? They're always playing Missouri the final game of the year, right? Then it used to be LSU, and then now they're playing Missouri. So I don't know whether or not Arkansas can go to Notre Dame late in the year. It's all according to what the SEC decides today. But I would think it's still a possibility they could fit it in somehow. Yeah.
I would guess it's dead. I guess Navy, they're going to play 10 ACC games in Navy. That's what's going to happen.
You think so?
Arkansas gets the shaft again. We got to figure a way for Sam to win a game. I know that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I got to go to Arkansas and volunteer. Hey, can I get Kroger? Can I get Country Please and Sausage at Kroger?
You can. Yes, that's where I get it here in Tupelo. I get it at Kroger.
All right. I got to go get some now. Thank
go
you.
ahead.
God
All right,
bless.
man. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks, Ponto. Flipping it over. Well, not flipping it over, just staying on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Put two arms out, stick them straight out, and then slam your hands together. And whether you know it or not, you're doing the Gator Chomp. As we bring in now on the Davini phone, Mr. Gator Greg. Gator Greg, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Wyatt, I agree. I guess I agree with the previous caller because I believe that was the first time that Notre Dame was going to play Navy in Annapolis. That was supposed to be a big game. I think it was a CBS game. So with the TV contracts and stuff, I know COVID's in play. I would think they'd play that game, and maybe if you're Arkansas, that's not the worst thing in the world because you might, avoid a loss, and maybe the Hogs can win a few more games. And I kind of think Notre Dame, with that road schedule that you announced, they might be like a playoff sleeper. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't get much better than that road schedule you just told me that the Irish play.
That's no doubt about it. The road games for Notre Dame, Boston College, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Now, look, the Tar Heels are going to be good. That's a tough road trip. But then Pitt and Wake Forest. And, Wake Forest playing with a new quarterback, Jamie Newman, went to Georgia. Georgia Tech was good and terrible last year. And so you're right. The home games for Notre Dame are Clemson, Florida State, Louisville, Duke, and Syracuse. I mean, altogether, it's a much easier schedule for Notre Dame than what they would have had.
Yeah, it's favorable. I tell you, though, Mr. Wyatt, I was going to ask you because I got some friends like you with the SEC. And the rumor was that maybe that Mississippi State would pick up Georgia if we go to all conference, if you're going to add the 10+1. I've heard something like Florida might pick up Alabama, which would be probably a negative for the Gators. That's that's going to be tough with Alabama and LSU. But if you heard a scenario, I've heard a scenario that guys may pick up, South Carolina or Georgia as the one of the other East teams. But you're doing a good job today, Mr. Wyatt and JB. We appreciate you being on too. You guys have a great show.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate the phone call. Hope you're doing well, Greg. Hang in there. Yeah, I have heard that kind of just people talking, smoke emanates from conversations and stuff. I'd heard that Georgia, South Carolina, possibility, but it really, there's a lot of things you would add. You're adding 2 opponents as opposed to the 8 conference opponents you have. You'd be adding 2 more and trying to figure out what that rotation is and who they are. But I'd heard that Georgia, South Carolina from that side. There will be. It's one of those things where even though everybody, if you're an SEC fan and you get a schedule like this, a 10+1, everybody should be just happy to have a schedule and know when practice is starting. Somebody will complain about who got put on the schedule. That's not fair. We got to play that. Really? Florida fans. Are you seriously putting Alabama on our schedule? We've already got LSU. Hey, just zip it. Be happy that we're about to, have practice and maybe play a game or two. We just need to count our blessings, right?
Hey, Matt, have you seen Ryan Moore's article about why everyone needs to realize there is no more normal in college football?
No, I haven't. Ryan Moore, who's he right
Ryan
for?
McGee, I'm sorry.
Oh, Ryan McGee, yeah, with ESPN. Yeah. What did he
ESPN
say?
Senior. Well, it sounds very Southern and colloquial, but he said, he begins the article, I was on the beach 3 weeks ago. The day was ending, and I was packing up my family's gear to leave the shore and head back to the house for dinner when a man startled me with, "Hey!" He was walking directly toward me, overcooked by the sun and overserved by the contents of the Yeti cooler in his left hand. Mm-hmm. And he asked him, what is going to happen with college football? And you know what? We're still asking that question 3 weeks later.
Aren't we?
And we may be asking it 3 more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know that what the ACC has done is going to make any difference, you know, in the long-term effects of what we know about this disease.
Well, that's it. I mean, the model that they've put together for the ACC in one way, earlier I said it accomplishes 2 things, but the third thing it accomplishes is it pushes it back just a little bit in case they need more time to call things off. Now, I mean, I hate to say that as a Debbie Downer, but you're right. I mean, everything is still an unknown. Just because we're saying this is the way we're going to proceed to try to have a season, it's not a guarantee that you will have a season yet.
Right. I mean, you look at there were 2 Phillies employees that tested positive. So now they've canceled the series with the Blue Jays.
Right.
And, you know, I think the thing about what we're doing and what you're doing, bringing the sports to life, is just giving people hope.
Yeah. Well, and it's my take on it is a positivity and give them hope. I know it's what we all care about, but it's also this, JB, is like, if somebody's going to give me some of their time and listen to us while we're on the air, I hope they would maybe learn something also. I'd like for somebody out there who goes, hey, I listen to Matt's show all the time. I'd like for that person to also know what they're talking about. Right. When they talk with their friends. And, you know, we're just kind of keeping ourselves up to date, looking at the possibilities. And it has not been an easy job for us to try to read tea leaves and figure out where things are going. That has not been an easy job at all. Not at all. Countdown of 100 teams in 100 days is coming up. It's not an ACC team. It's one that's good enough, though, to be an ACC team. How about that tease? That's coming up in just a bit. I'm also going to take a look. There's a page in that Phil Steele magazine about which teams are moving up and moving down in certain areas. Like which teams are going to make a huge jump in their passing game. Which teams are going to make a huge jump in their running game. There's a few nuggets of information in there I want to get to you. But we're gonna do that coming up. I have to bring this up, though, because I saw this today. I had never heard this before. I follow sports. You do. I do. JB does. I had never heard this before. It involves my home state of Alabama. And it involves, JB, our favorite movie, The Natural. I don't have the natural.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, I got your attention, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That was the whole point of that whole thing. I don't have the natural music, but I do have the when they were winning. You know, I played this for them.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to this.
Sounds like a bunch of Astros beating on a garbage can.
It does, doesn't it? Fastball. Fastball. On this day in 1987, although the Bulova Watch Company, am I saying that correctly? Bulova?
Yes, you are.
Although the Bulova Watch Company had promised a free watch to any player who hit their clock located high above the Ebbets Field scoreboard, a man named Bama Rowell didn't receive the timepiece after his 1946 home run that shattered the clock. The injustice is corrected more than 40 years later when the former Braves outfielder, whose blast is thought to be the inspiration for author Bernard Malamud having Roy Hobbs, the hero of his 1952 novel, The Natural, smashing a glass-shattering homer off the light tower. Bama Rowell, I said Rowell, it's Rowell, receives his first wristwatch from Bulova. On this day, July 30th, 1987, in Citronelle, Alabama. It's Citronella, but depending on if you're from there or not, it's Citronelle.
There are no mosquitoes there.
That's the thing. And anybody who's driven through Mississippi to go to like Dauphin Island or Gulf Shores, you've driven through Citronella. It's Citronelle. But they do put an E on the end. Anyway, he had his own day in his hometown of Citronelle, Alabama, when they honored him because he's the man who hit a home run. Bama Rowell hit a home run at Ebbets Field in 1946, and it busted the clock, shattered it. And that's the thing. There's no doubt in my mind, Natural fans, that this man who wrote this novel in 1952, who was a big baseball fan, had this in mind when he put that scene in there about Roy Hobbs busting things. Of course, he busted a clock in one scene in the movie, and that was supposedly playing a game in Chicago. Great scene in a movie. And then, of course, busting the lights out at the end of it. But in real life, a man named Bama Rowell, who hit a home run at Ebbets Field in 1946 and busted the sign out there with a clock on it from the Bulova Watch Company, who had promised, if you bust this sign, you get a free watch. He never got it. 40 years later, more than 40 years later, they had Bama Rowell Day in Citronelle, Alabama, his hometown. I've been through there every summer for as long as I can remember. Y'all have too. Going to the beach. And on this day in 1987, on Bama Rowell Day, he got his watch. He finally got his watch from the Bulova Watch Company. I love that story. Now it's got me wanting to like Google Bama Rowell. It's got me wanting to see what kind of watch they gave him. Over 40 years later. Don't give up, folks. Jimmy V said it. Don't ever give up. All right, so coming up next, a countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Team number 37, and they're pretty doggone good. Got a new coach this year. And a great fight song. That's all coming up. Stick around.
This portion of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg. Whether it's a day trip or a weekend stay, we are your clean, safe place to get out of the house and have some fun and relaxation. In July, play our $250,000 cash giveaway. Each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, winners receive $1,000 in free slot player cash. Sports are coming back, and it's time to start your wagers. And you can get in on all the action. Stay, play, and dine at Central Mississippi's premier gaming destination, Ameristar Casino Hotel. Gambling problem? Call 888-777-9696.
Pawpaw, it's 2020.
That's right, Macy. At Frank Chevrolet Buick GMC, we're celebrating the new year.
Pawpaw, how in the world are we doing that?
We're doing that with up to $12,000 off select units. No better time than today to make your driving dreams come true.
Shop us online at frankchevy.com.
Frank Chevrolet Buick GMC. Visit us at frankchevy.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
At Ag Up, your local John Deere dealer, you can leave it up to us, or you can build it, price it, and own it with a simple click of a button at agup.com. Build it. Select from tractors, lawn equipment, or gators. Next, choose which implements and attachments best fit your tasks. Price it. Receive immediate pricing. Own it. Pick it up at your Ag Up location. Visit agup.com today to begin customizing your equipment, or feel free to leave it up to us and visit any of our 16 locations in Mississippi and Arkansas.
When you choose Clinton Body Shop to repair your vehicle, we won't try to give you a warm and fuzzy feeling saying your insurance company recommends us. The truth is that your insurance company may try to steer you away from us. We choose to repair your vehicle according to your vehicle maker's repair procedures, and we refuse to cut corners. Your safety matters, your family matters. Don't be steered to another shop. Choose Clinton Body Shop. We take pride in perfection. seriously.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish.
At C Spire, we're not playing their game. The fact is, 5G doesn't always mean 5G speeds. But thanks to our exclusive fiber technology and hundreds of millions invested in network updates, we can deliver 5G speeds right here, right now. Discover the difference at cspire.com/5G speeds. C Spire, customer inspired. Details at cspire.com.
Hey, this is Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. At times, life can feel scary, which can leave us hurting and feeling overwhelmed with anxiety. Now, more than ever, we need to be kind to ourselves, kind to our mental health, and find some time and space in these tough times. Mindfulness is something that's helped me, and I hope it can help you too. My nonprofit is partnering with Headspace to offer you free content that can ease those feelings of anxiety. It's as easy to do as this. Take a big, deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In and out. Just breathing. In and out. Head to kevinlovefund.org/headspace and be kind to your mind.
I missed a mortgage payment, but now I'm turning things around. With Sam, I can.
Sam is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the National Endowment for Financial Education. We're an independent nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping people just like you get sound information about money at samican.org.
Business has fallen off at work, but I'm getting prepared for whatever the future holds. With Sam, I can.
Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
Come on, let's go!
Let's go! Go! With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. The guy who, if he's not talking sports, hey, he's fishing for bass, okay? But he's right here, right now. Online at 1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
All right, rolling along with you here in hour number 2. If you're watching the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or Periscope, stay with me for a few more minutes. Once we get through this segment, we'll have the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Team number 37 coming up. We are 37 days away from September the 5th. Looks like the season will start a little later, but so we may have to adjust. But we'll see. We'll give it a few more days. But after that, if you're watching the live stream, we'll click the button and switch that off and ask you to head on over to the audio live stream. You can go to the website, thezone1059.com. Just click play, and you'll be listening live to whatever's on the air. Or do like I do. You can use the iHeartRadio app on your phone, it's a great app, obviously. It works really well. You just put the iHeart app on your phone, punch in 1059 The Zone, hit the heart as your favorite, and boom. You listen to it every time you open it up. Works on the on the TuneIn app. You can stream it live there. And also, if you have Amazon Alexa, put the app on there and tell it 1059 The Zone. It'll find it, click it, stream it right there wherever you are. I don't guess you click it, but you tell Alexa to do it. And is it a she? Alexa does whatever you tell them to do. So after this, we'll send you over to the audio stream and appreciate you tuning in. And yes, JB, I do have some thoughts on the NBA. They're starting tonight in the bubble, and I'm really curious to watch it and see, but I'm also curious to see if Zion is going to play. Am I saying it right? Zion or Zion?
I say Zion.
Yeah, Zion. That's the way it's pronounced like when we preach and read it in the Bible. It's like Mount Zion.
Yeah, I don't know if he likes that extra syllable on there. I'm more of a J.A. Morant guy.
Are you?
Or Ja Morant, whatever how you pronounce it. Yeah, that dude's just, he's got wicked athleticism.
No, he does. He really does.
Not that Zion doesn't.
Yeah. I am curious just to kind of see what it's going to look like and sound like and what the vibe is going to be, So I'll turn it on and check it out, and then I'll switch it over to baseball. I will say, look, if baseball hadn't been going, the NBA would have had my full attention right now. But because it's just me personally, it's my personal preference and taste is now with baseball up and going. It's like last night, we're in there painting, and I had the Braves going on my phone on Hulu the whole time. It was great entertainment, by the way, as far as I'm concerned. because I'm a Braves fan and they won. Had they lost, I wouldn't be talking about what great entertainment it was.
Hey, I just wanted to say, God bless you.
For what?
Because I hate painting.
Yeah. Most people do, it seems like.
I hate it.
You know what I'm saying?
Every house we lived in for the first 25 years of our marriage, we had to do paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, and if it wasn't painting, it was wallpaper. And if you're going to paint, you had to tear the wallpaper down, and then you paint it. Then you put wallpaper. It's just this never-ending saga of Bob Vila-isms.
Yes, I know. Well, and look, let's be honest. It's one of those things that's like you don't do that for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing
exactly what you mean.
We're doing it because it's things every now and then either A, get to a point where you go, hey, we have to do this. We just got to break down and use our time. We got to fix this or we got to work on that. Or Annabeth has been watching, HGTV.
That's always dangerous.
Both really are kind of dangerous, to be honest with you. All right, let's do it. The countdown of 100 teams in 100 days right now.
It's the final countdown.
100 teams, 100 days.
The countdown is presented by Matt Anderson Properties, a member of National Land Realty. Call Matt Anderson at 408-5155. That's 408-5155.
Okay, so yes, y'all call Matt Anderson Properties with National Land Realty. Here's why. He can help you buy or sell a piece of property, timberland, recreational property, waterfront, whatever. If you're buying, they've got that 360-degree interactive drone touring where you can see the entire property without ever having to set foot on it. It's a great way to shop. If you're selling property, you get comprehensive internet traffic reports for your listing. Matt can do all that for you. Call him, Matt Anderson, at 601-408-5155, 408-5155. Today's team, number 37, the Memphis Tigers of Tiger High. A great fight song at Tiger High. Are they still a basketball school? Dr. Brojo, do you consider Memphis to be a basketball school?
I hadn't in the last few years, but when Penny Hardaway got back and Mike Miller was his assistant, I thought he recruited extremely well. Got a couple kids from Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty talented. They're definitely a top 20 team.
Yeah. Man, their following for their basketball program is phenomenal.
I'll tell you this, just to rehash some old thoughts. I was at State back when Keith Lee was there, and I worked with the basketball program with Benny Ashford doing the coaching for Bob Boyd. And we got to go to the hotel to do some interviews there, and I met Keith Lee. I thought you had a big foot. This guy makes Bigfoot look like he's got a size 2.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh my gosh,
he's a big
his fingers were like pencils.
That's great. He's a big old boy.
Oh yeah,
there ain't no doubt about it. Yeah, so I got to see a pretty cool thing back in 2009. Tupelo at the Bancourt South Arena in Tupelo hosted a basketball game between LSU and Memphis.
I remember that.
And there were 10,000 plus people in there. It was really a cool scene. Yeah, Memphis. It was mostly Memphis fans. I say it was 10,000 plus in there. There was 10,000 Memphis fans in there, and there was like 35 LSU fans. No joke. At that time.
Who did the Tigers win?
Yes.
That's good.
The Tigers won. The orange ones.
With the black stripes?
Yes. That group of Tigers won. No, Memphis football. First-year head coach, because Norvell is now at Florida State. And he's the one that kind of, well, you'd have to go back all the way to Justin Fuente and the job he did at Memphis, which led to him getting the Virginia Tech job. And then Norvell took over. And, of course, he just continued it. And their offense just exploded under Norvell. And they put up all these huge numbers and put skill players in the NFL. And now Ryan Silverfield is going to take over as the head coach, first-year head coach. And he's taken over a pretty good team that went 12-2 last year, 7-1 in the AAC, 8 returning starters on defense, 6 returning starters on offense. Like I say, a good football team who got whipped in the Cotton Bowl. Y'all remember that? Penn State beat Memphis 53-39 in the Cotton Bowl at the end of last year. You know, another thing the Memphis band does is they always play Eye of the Tiger. My wife loves Rocky, and she loves this song. Man, you talk about, look at this. You talk about winning football. They were 12-2 last year. They went 8-6 in 2018. 2017, they were 10-3. 2016, 8-5. 2015, 9-4. Again, trace it all the way back to Justin Fuente, but the job he did there, and they have built a program at Memphis where they are recruiting. They have made football a priority, and they are winning. By the way, Phil Steele, College Football Preview Magazine, has UCF picked to win the league, the AAC, the American Athletic Conference, but they have Memphis picked second. He says, Memphis was one of my favorite teams in the country last year, as I was the only one to peg them to get to the New Year's Six Bowl as champions of the AAC. They did lose to Temple. Head coach Silverfield did a solid job in the bowl game versus Penn State. Brings in Mike McIntyre as defensive coordinator. Does that sound familiar? Yep. So McIntyre didn't have to move very far. I don't know if he had to move at all. Went from Oxford to Memphis. Offense and defense are improved, he says, and they have the best special teams in the AAC. Memphis was number 3 in the conference with a plus 83 yards per game. So they were outgaining everybody they played last year. And they will host UCF this year on their schedule. Again, we say they will. We got to see if they play. We got to see what their schedule is going to be. But as we know it right now, when you look at their conference schedule, their big out-of-conference game this year for Memphis was supposed to be week 2 at Purdue in the Big Ten, so that's not happening. They were set to host Houston, traveling to SMU, hosting Central Florida on a Friday night after having an open date before that game. That's what the schedule gave them. Hosting Temple after UCF, Temple the team that beat them last year. Having to go to Cincinnati, hosting South Florida, having to go to Navy, and then going to Tulane to end the year. It's actually not necessarily an easy closing stretch. Look at their last 5 games, 3 of the last 5 on the road. At Cincinnati, at Navy, at Tulane. That's just kind of the way they had them scheduled. Memphis is a good football team. I know they are on some future schedules for Mississippi State and for Ole Miss.
Yeah, Mississippi State, 2028. I think the Bulldogs will go to Memphis, and in 2029, the Tigers will come to Stark Vegas.
Okay. We might be alive then. That's someone out there,
if we're not, I know where I'm going to be, and I'll be just right.
I'll be doing something else other than watching a football game, I promise you that.
You might be running a 4.25 40 then, too.
For the first time ever. I get to know what it feels like to feel the wind in my hair. All right. Y'all head on over to the live stream. Stick with me on the radio.